Sports Central presents MaxPreps SoCal.
And welcome into MaxPreps SoCal. Over the next half hour, we'll have bracket updates, first round recaps, and spotlight some of the biggest playoff games of the week. I'm Chris Hayrie, joined by former LA Charger and Riverview, Florida High School alum Jahleel Adai. Hey, Jahleel has the playoff pocket square, so you know it's real, right?
It's real. It's playoff pocket square time. It's time to see these guys step up. Big games, big lights, make big plays.
Yeah, big dogs started off on Friday. We'll start with look at the brand new California State top 10 rankings. Two of the biggest movers following wins last week are Gardena Serra at 9th, while Oaks Christian also enters the top 10 at 10th. The top 4 teams are all from the southern section and coming off a bye last week. The 8-team Division I playoffs begin this Friday. For top-ranked St. John Bosco, the number 1 seed in the D1 bracket, they'll face San Clemente in the first round. The Tritons were 9-1 in the regular season and South Coast League champs. We spoke with head coach Jason Negro this week to see how he's preparing for this matchup.
We try to take a look at the opponent as nameless and faceless and just go out there and try to be the best versions of ourselves that we can. And San Clemente is a very well-coached football team, and I know that coach very well. Jaime Ortiz does a phenomenal job down there, and I know he's going to have his kids ready. So, we're going to have to go out there and we're going to play hard. We had, they had 2 weeks to prepare for us, so never underestimate the heart of a champion. And those guys won South Coast League title, and they're a very proud group, so they're going to come in here and compete at the highest level.
So here's the full 8-team Division I bracket that kicks off on Friday. The other 3 matchups see Centennial host Orange Lutheran, 10-0 Sierra Canyon taking on Santa Margarita, while Modern Day matches up with J. Serra in an all-Trinity League showdown. But Jahleel, give us a breakdown of this St. John Bosco-San Clemente matchup. It seems like Coach Negro not overlooking these Tritons.
You can't overlook them, but when you look at this game, you say, man, St. John Bosco is a top dog, and you cannot argue that. They have to stick to their guns, and they got to play their game. But when you look at San Clemente, both 9-1 teams, San Clemente won the South Coast League behind Aiden Rubin, running back, 5'8", 190, 22 total touchdowns, 1,700 yards. You'll probably see Bosco want to move Peyton Woodyard, the the cousin of Kyle Hamilton of the Ravens, into the box to slow down that rushing attack.
Bosco, though, at the end of the day, man, just too many 4- or 5-star guys, I think, for San Clemente to handle.
I think so, but like you said, you just can't go out there and roll the ball out. You got to stick to your guns. You got to play your game. But Chris, like you said, too many guns, too many 5-star, 4-stars, top dogs, man. It's going to be a tough one for San Clemente to overcome.
But that's why they play the games. All right, let's turn our attention to the Monarchs now. Their only loss of the season was that 28-0 defeat at the hands of the Braves on October 13th. Modern Day hosting J. Serra Catholic on Friday in their opening game of the D1 playoffs. The team they beat 42-0 just about a month ago. And remember, since 2016, Modern Day has won 3 Division I titles. It is a ridiculous, let me say it again, ridiculous 92-5. All 5 losses coming to St. John Bosco. We caught up with Frank McManus ahead of his first playoff game as the head coach.
Well, we'd like to see the offense continue to kind of get crisp. So they've been good, but inconsistent through the year. So we're looking for them to become a little more consistent throughout the playoffs and really just each series. So again, game to game, series to series, we want to see them really kind of become more efficient. Defensively, they've really carried us a lot this year, so I think they've been doing a great job. But again, it's one of those things where I'd like to get a little more balance.
So you heard Coach talk about the defense carrying the day. Time for the offense to get involved a little bit more.
It's time for them to get involved, and I think what they have to do is they have to lean on their 2-headed monster rushing attack. Nathaniel Frazier, Georgia commit. And then you have Jordan Davison, only a junior, but he's actually leading the team in rushing. This guy has every team in the country on his tail.
Every team.
Every team. I mean every team. It goes from Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Auburn, you name it, he has them on his tail. He will be a 5-star next year. You have to lean on that run game, get the ground game going, and allow things to open up for Elijah Brown.
Jahleel, Modern Day has to have that sour taste in their mouth from that loss to St. John Bosco a month ago. What's the prove a point?
They have to prove a point because when you look at the California State rankings, it's always St. John Bosco, it's always Modern Day, and they both are very, very prideful programs. And you look and you say, hey, we took that loss, but look what, we have to go through the playoffs if we want to see St. John Bosco again. They got to stick to the guns and they got to play well.
I think you said last week Division II was a loaded baked potato.
Loaded.
If that's loaded, I don't know what Division I is, man. We'll have to come up with another adjective or a verb, whatever it is, all right? Let's give some love to the city section now. After a bye, the Open Division playoffs also kick off this this week, where three-time defending champ Birmingham enters as the top seed. After starting the season 3-2, the Patriots went 5-0 in the West Valley League, allowing just a total of 19 points across those games to earn the top seed in the Open Division. They play on Thursday this week against a Narbonne team that's lost 4 of its last 5. That takes us to our stat to know this week. Birmingham has won a whopping 39 games in a row against city section opponents. Their last loss came almost 6 years ago, November 17, 2017, a 40-35 loss to Fairfax in the Open Division quarters. Head coach Jim Rose talked to us this week about trying to put the win streak behind them as they actually prepare for the game.
I would say they're definitely confident, but there's also a burden of having this win streak and all that and being 3-time reigning champs. So that's the part that makes me nervous. But sometimes, as you can tell, I don't think they're very nervous. You know, we played a tough non-league schedule, which we always do, and then, hone our mistakes down and everything. And we've done a good job. I don't think in any league game we gave up 100 yards of offense. So we're really doing well right now.
So the road to the title going to run through Lake Balboa. In the other games, Granada Hills Charter takes on Carson. Gardena faces Palisades, and the 2-seed Garfield Bulldogs will take on San Pedro. But you heard Coach, he's a little nervous, but I don't think his players are in the slightest.
I don't think the players are because they got ballers there. And guess what? They're the number 1 seed. They have home field advantage. First time since 2019. They're going to have the crowd there. They're going to have the crowd behind them. They're going to have big momentum with that home field advantage. And then you look at Peyton Waters, 6'2", 170.
Tell me about him.
Okay, I'm going to tell you. He's committed to Washington, 3-star, wide receiver DB, but he does it all. Here you see him blocking a kick. I seen him return a kick. I seen him kissing babies, taking pictures and signing autographs. This kid's he's a stud. He's loaded. He can do it all, and he's excited to watch.
Yeah, Birmingham looks like they can continue this city section winning streak. We'll see what happens this upcoming weekend.
No doubt.
All right, coming up on MaxPreps SoCal, what's next for Chaminade in the Division III playoffs, coming off a thrilling comeback win over Inglewood, plus the Division II quarterfinals are stacked. We just said it. Zack Poff will join us to break down the big games. Now, here's a look at some of the quarterfinal matchups in the southern section.
Hi, this is Coach Rose of Birmingham High School, and we're watching MaxPreps SoCal.
Division III action from last Friday, and it didn't look good for second-seeded Chaminade when they fell behind Inglewood High School 28-7 in the first half at home. But the Eagles rallied to score 25 straight to take the lead. Quarterback Seth Shigg scored a 20-yard touchdown with under a minute to go in the game to give the Eagles the lead for good. They outscored the Sentinels 29-7 in the second half en route to a 39-35 win. Next up for Chaminade, they take on 10-1 Villa Park in the D3 quarterfinals. Top seed San Juan Hills advanced to face Citrus Valley. St. Bonaventure hosts Cajon at Ventura College, and after knocking off previously unbeaten Tustin, Warren take on Oak Hills. Now to Division II. Servite was the only Trinity League team left out of the Division I bracket, but they took care of Valencia 48-24 last week in the first round. Friars D came up with 2 interceptions and 5 sacks of the Vikings, while the offense racked up nearly 500 total yards. A big win for Servite, improving its record to 6-5. Now they face second-seeded Long Beach Poly. That game is just one of 4 fantastic matchups in the Division II playoffs this week. Rancho Cucamonga takes on Murrieta Valley. Oaks Christian travels to Mission Viejo, and Gardena Serra hosts Los Alamitos. And joining us now, MaxPreps National Football Editor Zack Poff. Zack, why don't we just start with what Jahleel called a loaded baked potato last week? That Division II quarters is getting even bigger.
Yeah, man. You just look at that D2 bracket. It's filled with sauce, man. This is going to be a get your popcorn ready quarterfinals. I mean, you could legit make a case for all 8 of these teams on why they're going to win the D2 bracket. You look at Rancho versus Marietta Valley. These two teams opened the season against each other. Rancho won 29-27. I love Bear Bachmeyer at quarterback for Marietta. I think that's going to be a very close game. Oaks versus Mission Viejo, another big-time matchup. The one I can't wait for, those Gardena, Serra, and Los Alamitos. I still am not sure who I'm going to pick in this one, but I'm kind of leaning towards Los Al. And then also, too, you got Long Beach Poly against the Trinity League squad in Servite, the one Trinity League team that did not make the D1 bracket. And I do think Long Beach Poly is going to win that game, and I like Long Beach Poly and Rancho Cucamonga to meet up in the D1 finals, and I think, or the D2 finals, and I think Long Beach Poly is going to walk away with it.
Shout out to Antonio Pierce, Long Beach Poly's finest, right? All right, let's go to Division I now. Maybe the best in the country. You got 4 guys to keep your eye on.
Yeah, St. John Bosco. You know, you could pick a boatload of guys, but the guy I've been super impressed with is senior quarterback Caleb Sanchez. You know, this is a guy you got to give a lot of respect to. You know, he waited his turn, and he's really showing out this year. He's thrown for nearly 2,700 yards and 27 TDs, playing against the best competition. And I expect D1 offers to start coming his way, especially if he plays well in the D1 playoff bracket. And then also, too, Hassan Longstreet from Corona Centennial. This is a guy I feel like has been playing a lot better as the season's progressed. And Corona Centennial can make some noise in this bracket. It's all going to start with the 4-star junior quarterback. And then a couple of position guys, Trent Mosley, for a class of 2026 standout for Santa Margarita. His older brother Emmett is a straight stud, but he hasn't played this year. He's been out all season. And Trent's really stepped up, has nearly 1,500 total yards and nearly 30 total touchdowns this year for Santa Margarita. And then Nate Frazier, running back, Georgia commit for Mater Dei. You know, Jordan Davison's one of the best running backs in the class of 2025. He's been a little banged up, so Nate Frazier's really picked up the load. And I expect Nate Frazier to have a big postseason for Mater Dei. And I still think the Monarchs might get some revenge on St. John Bosco when they eventually, I'm predicting, they meet up in the D1 championship for a rematch.
That's what I was just going to ask you. You know, I feel like we want drama in D1, but we'll probably end up with Mater Dei Bosco round 2, no?
You know, like you said, man, drama's always fun, but I don't think we're going to get any drama, man. I think it's going to stick to the game plan, and we're going to get that instant rematch Thanksgiving weekend. So it's going to be nice, man. Get a lot of good food and then get a good rematch. So at least we'll get that. See a pair of heavyweights. Zach, you're the best, man. We look forward to next week. Yeah, thanks for having me, man. All right, coming up, the 11-0 Chino Cowboys are the top seed in the Southern Section Division 7 playoffs. We'll look back at their very convincing win over Long Beach Jordan. Plus, he starred for Alta Loma High School, and then the Chargers, and then the Rams. Now he's the head coach at Rancho Bernardo. Eric Weddle going to join us next to give us a taste of football in San Diego County. Until then, more brackets.
You're watching MaxPreps SoCal.
Our game of the week came from the Division 7 playoffs. Number 1 seed Chino hosting Long Beach Jordan. A complete team win for the Cowboys. The defense held Southern Section passing yards leader Jared Nielsen in check, including an interception, returned 43 yards for a pick 6 by C.J. Gibson. Chino's senior quarterback Diego Ogata rushed for a team-high 154 yards, 2 touchdowns, while running back Nathan Blanco added another 131 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns in the 42-22 win, helping Chino improve to 11-0 this season. Chino now plays Lakewood's Mayfield High on Friday. Agora takes on Pasadena Muir. Riverside's King faces Salesian, and Redondo Union hosts Placente's El Dorado. Jahleel, can anybody challenge Chino in this bracket?
I don't think so. When you look at Chino and the way they're running the ball, Diego Ogata, this kid is balling. 154 yards last week. 40 attempts rushing the ball. Only threw the ball 4 times, 2 completions, had a touchdown throwing. But the way he's running the ball, the way their defense is playing stingy defense and fighting for every blade of grass, that's the formula for success.
We compared him with Lamar Jackson last week. When a guy like that is cooking, how do you stop it?
You don't stop it. You try to. He's doing everything and more. You try to load the box with 8 players. You try to load the box with, I don't know, you might engage 0. Just blitz the whole defense because this guy's running all over everybody. It doesn't matter who they're facing, and they faced a lot of top talent this year, and he continues to do it week in and week out.
So the biggest opponent for Chino is Chino.
Himself.
That's it. Rancho Cucamonga's Altaloma High was part of the Division VII playoffs back in 2021. So why are we telling you this? We have a special guest joining us now, former Altaloma High star Eric Weddle in the building. And Eric, I'm just going to pass this to your former secondary mate for the first question. Let's go.
What's up, E-Dub, man? Hey, first of all, I want to tell you thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule to join us. And when I came in as a rookie, you were a guy that I looked up to, a guy that I tried to model my game after, how you carried yourself on and off the field. What's some of the biggest core values you would say that you try to input into your program now that you're coaching in the high school?
For me, it's just trying to instill in these kids the values of what is expected, honestly. And that is, how do I get these kids to be great fathers and husbands one day? I mean, that is the ultimate goal, along with the lessons you can learn from the greatest game in the world, and that is football, and the effort and sacrifice and doing it as a team, right? And all those things that go and coincide with it. But I mean, I got great kids and they work hard, and just trying to instill those values and accountability and just being honest and doing what is expected of us as men, right? And as leaders of our community. And that's what I'm trying to do on a daily basis with the boys that I have.
Eric, how has that first season at Rancho Bernardo been for you? And, you know, we were talking about this Division I Southern Section bracket loaded, Mater Dei, Bosco. Who are some teams from San Diego that we should know about up here?
Well, yeah, I mean, when you're talking about San Diego football, I mean, our open division, which is Helix, Granite Hills, Carlsbad, and Lincoln. Those 4 are going. Those are the top 4 teams in San Diego that are going to battle it out and be our open division champ. And of those 4, all 4 are deserving, have had incredible years. And then you have Division I after that. We are Division II. We're the 2 seed in Division II in San Diego. And we got a tough game against Bishops at home for the quarterfinals. And it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be at home playoff game, Friday Night Lights. Ooh. The amount of, it's crazy. I played in Super Bowl, Pro Bowl. Nothing is like Friday Night Lights and the energy and passion you get at being in your community and at the high school. So we're looking forward to it.
For us up here in LA who don't know much about your current roster, who's some ballers do you need to point out for us to keep an eye on?
Yeah, I mean, you were looking at him right there, Tarek Fisher. He's our stud running back, 1,400-yard rusher. I tell people that we have a great team with a lot of great players, but without Tarek, I don't know if we win 1 or 2 games this year. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's how important he is to us. He does it all for us, plays special teams, and averages over 6 yards a carry. In league play, had averaged 170 yards a game in league, which really propelled us. So he's a standout. On the defensive side, I would say Dylan Ehrman, our outside linebacker, has 11.5 sacks on the year and leading our team in tackles with, 55 tackles or somewhere around there. So those 2 guys are great kids, even better classmates and leaders on our team and in the community. So they're going to have to play great for us to win and continue on.
No doubt.
Eric, it's been a pleasure just following your career, man, from the beginning to being a Super Bowl champ and now your next chapter. We wish you the best of luck this weekend and hope to catch up with you down the line.
You got it. Anytime, guys. Great to see you, Leo.
You too, baby.
Keep
Do your
in touch,
thing.
my man.
Good luck, man.
Eric Weddle, that was a treat. All right, still to come, from MaxPreps SoCal to the NFL, we'll give former Inland Empire star C.J. Stroud a little love. But first, the rest of the Southern Section brackets.
You're watching MaxPreps SoCal.
Welcome back, everybody. From MaxPreps SoCal to the NFL. Former Rancho Cucamonga High 5-star quarterback C.J. Stroud was one of the top recruits in the class of 2020. Stroud went on to become the number 2 pick in the 2023 NFL Draft out of Ohio State, and he's been a sensation with the Houston Texans, passing for over 2,200 yards, 14 touchdowns, and just 1 pick in 8 games. His latest effort saw him throw for a rookie record 470 yards, 5 touchdowns, in a win over the Bucs. Jahleel, a former Texan, what can you say about CJ?
Well, I'd love to see it. CJ, former Texan, played there in 2019. I know the fans in Houston are ecstatic about it. Only 22 years old. 2,200 yards passing, 14 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's been electric, and it's awesome to see a guy from the L.A. area continue to do his thing and ball out down there in the H-Town.
They got to figure it out with the head coach of the quarterback. Final thoughts, Division I bracket, Bosco, Mater Dei?
Bosco, Mater Dei, at the end of the day, those two are the heavyweights or the heavy hitters, and I think it's going to be them two when it's all said and done.
You want to know why it's playoff time? Look at Jahleel's shoes. That's going to do it for this episode of MaxPreps SoCal. Zoom in on Jahleel's shoes. We'll see you next Wednesday, same time.